What's up, fellow survivors of the virus apocalypse week number 3, the end of March. I am your grumpy, socially distanced rebel guide to all things gaming, the GM Grumpy. And since we are coming to the end of Mega Dungeon March, let's take a look at the list of all known published Mega Dungeons that we can find. So let us start with this wonderful web page that I found from DM David at Mega Dungeons in Print on the web. And here's a list that this guy found. So starting with Borrow Maze by Greg Gillespie, which I have. It's a classic old school Mega Dungeon, multi-year campaign of the book. Underground tombs infested by chaotic cult and undead. Next is Castle of the Mad Archmage, which is Mad Archmage, which is basically a reminiscent match of Castle Greyhawk. The Mad Archmage, an insane demigod, tribute to Gary Gygax's game. Then there's Dungeon Delve, written by Monty Cook. Dungeon Delve is a ancient magic insane wizards. Mysteries of Dungeon Delve remain locked from my gaze. A mountain of interesting content left behind a dungeon-a-day paywall, but it just seems to be gone. Castle Tristilian, which was a free dungeon room a day, feuding family who practice abominable sorceries. Castle White Rock, which is from traps, magic, monsters accumulated over the castle's 120 year history, no mere list of rooms. This product builds a campaign with numerous quests around the mega dungeon. Then we have Darkness Beneath, which is a multi-Arthur mega dungeon released through Fight On magazine. Rationale is undetermined, a strong but uneven anthology that ranges from inspired to silly, just like the old school dungeons, the cutaway map. Then we have Dwemer Mount for Labyrinth Lord. It's a Golden Age mega dungeon, dungeon set on top of a node of primal castles, an attempt to recreate a Golden Age playstyle. Then there's the Emerald Spire from Pathfinder, which was kind of sucky. An insane creature of immense power living at the bottom level. A collection of levels created by all-star contributors. Probably plays better if you divide the levels into separate dungeons, which I also have and feel kind of the same. Eyes of the Stone Thief from the 13th Age. Very, very clever idea. Basically, the dungeons in 13th Age are alive. So, you know, this thing is sort of like a giant worm kind of thing. And, you know, you have a living dungeon, which is actually really alive. We have Grand Temple of Jing for Pathfinder. Temple of a Trickster God. Catch-all concept with many contributors. Expect a trap and puzzle-filled dungeon. And of course, we have the Ruins of Grayhawk, which was not particularly inspired. A logical toast to the Mad Wizard Zaggy. The product every player dreamed of in the 1970s, released in the 1990s. Then we have Rapid Athuk, which tags itself as the granddaddy of all dungeons, claiming that it is first before Undermountain. It is basically, it's a dungeon-only campaign, a huge complex, 53 layers with refugee priests of Orcus. Hail Orcus. Then we have Undermountain, deepest dungeon of them all. The dungeon itself is barely detailed, only major levels features an insane wizard. Lots of empty rooms for you to film. We have Stone Hell, Labyrinth Lord. Another one, prison where pain and suffering attracts a powerful chaotic entity. We have the world's largest dungeon with over 16,000 encounters, A through Z. It's alphabetized. It's a publishing stunt. It's huge. I've played through it. Now, there are a bunch missing from this list. Maze of the Blue Minotaur is missing from this list, and a couple others, but that's a good selection of the ones that we know of. Let's try another web page. Obnobilous Subsurface Environment, which is sort of a very weird 80s dungeon. Stone Castle Greyhawk, of course. Temple of the Elemental Evil, of course. Tomb of Abiathar. Let's see, what is the other one? Caverns of Thace. World's Largest Dungeon, The Darkness Beneath, Kumar. Yeah. So there's definitely a lot out there. So it gives you an example of the amount. Now, obviously, the first is Castle Greyhawk, which is just a big, sprawling, chaotic mess of ideas that Gygax threw together in this giant 3-castle monstrosity. But he never called it a mega dungeon. It was just his place to set his campaign. This looks blue. So there you go. A list of the mega dungeons. Of the ones I own, I definitely like Borrow Maze because it's one consistent story, one consistent theme to work on of just this huge, gigantic graveyard, necropolis kind of thing. I don't know if it's the best, but it's definitely one of the ones I like the most of the ones I own. So there you go, a list of all the dungeons. Check it out. See which one fits your playstyle. Most of them are on DriveThruRPG or for sale over at Seth's Games and Anime here in Ventura. Until next time, I will talk to you later, losers.